My name is Tess, and at 66 years old, I thought I had left love behind, resigned to the notion that my heart would never again flutter with the reckless abandon of youth. But when Sam, a 20-year-old fresh-faced and full of dreams, moved in next door, everything changed. He was a constant reminder of everything I once was and everything I still longed to feel. Little did I know that our worlds were destined to collide, igniting a passion that would transform our lives forever. My name is Tess, and at 66 years old, I had long since made peace with the idea that love was a chapter of my life firmly closed. I believed my heart would never again race with the unrestrained thrill of youth. But everything changed when Sam moved in next door. He was 20, vibrant and brimming with dreams, a reminder of everything I once was and everything I secretly wished to feel again. Our worlds, though so different, seemed destined to intersect, sparking a connection that would reshape my perspective on life. It was early spring when the days started to warm, and the sun's golden rays gently melted winter's lingering frost. I was in my garden, carefully pruning the roses that had become a cherished part of my routine. Their sweet fragrance carried me back to days gone by, filling me with nostalgia. Spring always brought a sense of renewal, and I soaked up every moment among the colorful blooms. My peaceful reverie was interrupted by the sound of a car door shutting next door. I looked up to see a young man unloading boxes from an old, slightly beat-up sedan. His movements were full of energy, almost magnetic in their exuberance. Without overthinking it, I called out, "Need some help?" He looked up sharply, his bright blue eyes catching the sunlight and meeting mine with a spark of curiosity. "Just getting settled in. I'm Sam," he replied, his grin warm and inviting. There was something contagious about his smile, and I couldn't help but feel a flutter of excitement, a sensation I hadn't felt in years. "I'm Tess," I introduced myself, waving a little awkwardly. He waved back with an easy, open gesture. It was such a small interaction, but it left me with a lingering sense of possibility. Over the following weeks, Sam's presence became a subtle thread woven into my days. I'd catch glimpses of him as he skateboarded, worked on his bike, or lounged in the sun, his carefree energy a sharp contrast to my quiet, structured life. He intrigued me, sparking a curiosity I hadn't felt in a long time. What drove him? What dreams kept him up at night? These questions occupied my thoughts more often than I cared to admit. One particularly warm Sunday, I noticed him wrestling with a stubborn bicycle tire. His frustration was evident as he tugged and fiddled with the unyielding rubber. Before I realized it, I was already walking across the yard. "Need a hand?" I called out, breaking the silence. He looked up, relief and mild embarrassment mingling in his expression. "Would you?" "I'm terrible at this stuff," he admitted with a sheepish smile, scratching the back of his neck. Kneeling beside him, I felt an unexpected spark of excitement. Together, we worked on the tire, laughing at our shared struggles and small victories. His hands, though inexperienced, were eager to learn, and before long, we had the tire fixed. As we finished, he handed me a cold drink, his eyes bright with gratitude. "Thanks, Tess. You make this seem so easy," he said. "It's just practice," I replied, brushing off the compliment. But deep down, I felt something shift, a connection forming through shared laughter and small, unassuming moments. Over time, our conversations became more frequent, flowing effortlessly. We talked about everything from his future plans to my own memories of navigating the ups and downs of life. The age gap that initially seemed like a chasm began to feel irrelevant. Instead, our interactions reminded me that connections could transcend time, breathing new life into both our worlds. One afternoon, we found ourselves sitting together on my porch, the sunlight casting a warm glow over us. There was an ease in our companionship that felt rare and precious. The sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky with soft hues of orange and pink. It was one of those perfect evenings that seemed to suspend time, leaving Sam and me in what felt like a world all our own. I leaned back, savoring the moment, and asked, "Where did you grow up, Sam?" My curiosity had grown with each passing day, and I wanted to learn more about the person who had so effortlessly become a part of my life. He tilted his head, watching the clouds drift. "A small town a few hours from here," he said with a faint smile. "It was all right, but I've always wanted to be somewhere more vibrant, where art and culture really matter." "Art, you say?" My interest piqued. "What kind of art?" "Mostly painting," he replied, and his voice lit up with enthusiasm. "I love how it lets you express emotions without words. For me, it's like breathing." His passion was infectious, and before I realized it, I found myself admitting I used to paint a lot too. Life got in the way, I suppose. "It's been years since I've picked up a brush." "You should start again," he said, his excitement sparking something in me. "I'd love to see what you create." His words struck a chord deep within me, awakening a sense of potential I had buried long ago. It wasn't just his interest in art. It was the way he seemed to see me, not as a retired woman stuck in her ways, but as someone with a spark still waiting to be rekindled. As the weeks unfolded, our friendship grew richer, layered with laughter and heartfelt conversations. The more time we spent together, the more I noticed a quiet energy between us, a connection that seemed to hum beneath the surface. One sunny afternoon, as we joked about our favorite books, our hands brushed while reaching for the same one. The contact lingered just a moment too long, and the air between us shifted. It was subtle, yet undeniable. "Sam," I started, unsure of what I wanted to say. But before I could find the words, he leaned in, his gaze locked on mine. Tentatively, he brushed his lips against mine in a soft, fleeting kiss. The warmth of his touch sent a shiver through me, and for a moment, I forgot everything else. The world around us blurred as my heart raced with a mix of exhilaration and disbelief. I pulled back, breathless and startled by my own boldness. My thoughts swirled in a storm of emotions: wonder, guilt, and a thrilling sense of being alive. Could something like this, so unexpected and unconventional, really be happening? Over the days that followed, I wrestled with my feelings. The kiss lingered in my mind, an intoxicating memory that left me questioning everything. Would others understand? Could this connection become something meaningful, or was it destined to be fleeting? One evening, I invited Sam over for dinner. As I set the table, my nerves fluttered with anticipation. The flickering candles cast a warm glow, creating an intimate atmosphere. When he arrived, his smile brightened the room, and I felt an undeniable rush of joy. The meal was filled with easy conversation about art and dreams, but beneath the surface, an unspoken tension simmered. Finally, Sam broke the silence, his tone serious. "About the kiss," he began, searching my face. "Was it a mistake?" My heart dropped at his question. "I don't know," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "It was unexpected, that's all." "Why does it have to be more complicated than that?" he asked, leaning closer. "Sometimes a moment is just a moment. But we're not just two people in a vacuum, Sam," I replied, my fears surfacing. "There's so much more to consider." His voice softened, but his conviction was unwavering. "I don't care what others think. What I care about is us, whatever this is." His words hung in the air, heavy with sincerity. I was torn, caught between the magnetic pull of his optimism and the weight of my own doubts. Yet, despite my hesitation, I felt myself drawn to him, his vitality awakening a part of me I thought had faded long ago. We began to let our connection unfold naturally, sharing moments that grew into something profound. One afternoon, I suggested a visit to a nearby art gallery. Sam's face lit up, and we spent hours wandering through the exhibits, marveling at the creativity on display. In a quiet corner, a vivid painting caught my eye, a swirling landscape bursting with life and color. "Look at that one," I said, nudging him gently. My heart raced as I pointed it out, excitement bubbling up. Sam leaned in close, studying the brushstrokes with an appreciative smile. "It's breathtaking," he said softly, then glanced at me with a twinkle in his eye. "Just like you." His words unraveled my carefully constructed defenses, igniting emotions I had tried to keep at bay. As the noise of the gallery faded into the background, he asked, "Can I kiss you again?" His voice was steady, but there was a vulnerability in his gaze that made my heart ache. I nodded, breathless, as Sam leaned in, his lips meeting mine with a mix of urgency and tenderness. The kiss was exhilarating, sparking a yearning I hadn't allowed myself to feel in years. At that moment, I realized that our connection wasn't defined by age, but by something far more profound: our feelings. As our relationship deepened, so did the bond between us. One evening, after a leisurely walk, we returned to my house. A bottle of wine accompanied our conversation, which flowed effortlessly as it always did. Yet beneath the surface, an undeniable tension simmered. As the hours slipped by, our touches grew more deliberate. Sam reached for my hand, his thumb brushing softly over my skin, sending shivers through me. We moved closer, the space between us vanishing until our lips met again, this time with a passion neither of us could deny. That night, the connection we'd been nurturing finally overflowed. Sam's touch was tender, yet electrifying, tracing over me with care that made me feel seen, cherished, and alive. My own hands mirrored his movements, exploring the warmth of his skin. We lost ourselves in a moment, letting the world outside disappear. But reality has a way of intruding when you least expect it. A few days later, I attended a neighborhood gathering. These events were usually a source of routine comfort, but that night was different. Whispers followed me like shadows, their disapproval hanging thick in the air. "Did you hear about Tess and that young guy?" One woman sneered, her tone dripping with mockery. "How desperate can you get?" Another voice added, the laughter that followed cutting deep. I felt my cheeks flush with shame. As I tried to navigate the crowd, their words clung to me, each one stinging more than the last. Sam noticed my discomfort and quickly found me on the balcony, where I had sought refuge from the prying eyes and biting remarks. "They'll get over it," Sam said gently, his concern evident as he studied my face. "It's not just the gossip," I replied, my voice trembling. "What if they're right? What if this really is just a fantasy?" Sam stepped closer, his hands resting firmly on my shoulders. "It's not a fantasy if it's real for us. We can't let what they think define us." "I've been alone for so long," I admitted, my voice breaking. "What if I'm just fooling myself?" "Then let's make it real," he said, his conviction steady. "You mean more to me than their whispers. Let's write our own story." His words struck a chord, stoking a courage I hadn't realized I still possessed. Maybe love was worth fighting for, even when it defied expectations. The weeks that followed were filled with moments of joy and growth. Sam and I became partners in not only our relationship, but also in rediscovering parts of ourselves. One rainy Saturday, we stayed indoors, painting together in my living room. The room echoed with laughter as vibrant colors swirled on the canvas before us, a chaotic harmony that mirrored our emotions. "You're talented, Tess," Sam said, admiring my work with genuine appreciation. "You've taught me to see things differently, to look deeper, and you've encouraged parts of me I thought were lost," I replied, warmth spreading through me as I met his gaze. Our closeness grew, both in moments of shared creativity and in quiet intimacy. One evening, as snow fell softly outside, I whispered against his lips, "I don't want to hide anymore." "Then don't," he replied, his eyes filled with determination. "Let's be us, whatever that looks like." Winter arrived, blanketing the world in white, but within our little bubble, warmth blossomed. We navigated the challenges together, facing judgment head-on while forging a love that blended my experience with his youthful vitality. For the first time in years, I felt truly alive. One introspective evening, as we shared a quiet dinner, I found myself unable to hold back a question that had been building in my mind. I looked at Sam, my voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. "Sam, I care about you deeply, but I have to ask, what do you see for us in the future?" He paused, his expression thoughtful, as if weighing the significance of my words. "I see us exploring life together," Sam said, his voice steady and filled with sincerity. "Learning about each other, growing through whatever comes our way." You inspire me." His words hung in the air, and I couldn't help but press further. "What do I inspire you to do?" I asked, my voice soft yet tinged with curiosity, needing to understand the depth of what I meant to him. "To be fearless," he replied, raw emotion coloring his tone. "To take life by the reins and embrace the journey ahead without hesitation." Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes, his words stirring something deep within me. I reached for his hand across the table, the warmth of his touch dissolving the uncertainty that had weighed on my heart for so long. "If I choose this, if I choose us, it has to be all-encompassing," I said quietly, my voice steady despite the gravity of my admission. "It can be," he assured me, his smile radiating a light that seemed to fill the room. "I'm all in, Tess. I want to share my life with you." As the months rolled by, our shared dreams began to solidify into something tangible and enduring. Together, we chased sunsets, painted vibrant murals, and danced beneath the stars, creating a world brimming with laughter and tenderness. Each moment was a testament to the life we were building, a life that felt fuller and richer with every passing day. One balmy evening, we ventured to a quiet hill overlooking the city, a place that had become our sanctuary. Below us, the city lights sparkled like stars, reflecting the hope and joy we had found in each other. Wrapped in Sam's arms, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace, a feeling that had eluded me for so long. "I never thought I'd find something like this at my age," I confessed, gazing out at the horizon where the sky met the earth in a gentle embrace. "Why not?" he asked, his voice filled with quiet conviction. "Love is timeless, Tess. It's a gift no matter when it comes. It's never too late to experience something beautiful." I laughed softly, the warmth of his presence wrapping around me like a blanket. In that moment, I realized that age was just a number, an abstract concept that had no bearing on the depth of our connection. As I leaned in for a kiss, the world around us faded into oblivion. His lips, warm and tender against mine, anchored me firmly in the present. In that moment, we were simply Tess and Sam, two hearts intertwined, defying convention in the name of love. By opening my heart to a younger man, I discovered a world filled with joy, laughter, and profound emotional connection. When I looked at Sam, I saw not just a reflection of the vitality I once had, but a partner who balanced my layers of experience with his boundless spirit and fresh perspectives. Our relationship became a celebration of love in its purest form, unshackled by age or societal norms. It was a love that flourished in its bravery, proving that when two hearts dare to connect, they create a force that transcends all boundaries. As we walked hand in hand into the future, I embraced the adventure ahead, not just for myself, but for us. Together, we painted a future rich with endless possibilities, a masterpiece born of courage and love. Age had brought me wisdom and a few scars, but it was Sam's youthful spirit that illuminated my world, breathing life into corners I thought had grown dark forever. In the end, we found solace not in what others thought, but in the moments that made our hearts race and our souls sing. Love, I realized, is not bound by time. It is an eternal dance, a tapestry woven anew with each daring embrace. It is laughter, discovery, and the joy of simply being together. Sam and I embarked on a journey where dreams knew no limits and the heart reigned sovereign over expectations. Our love story, unique and bold, became a testament to the timelessness of love, a reminder that life's most profound connections often bloom in the most unexpected places. Together, we painted a canvas of color, passion, and hope, an artwork not confined by time but inspired by the courage to embrace life's unpredictable beauty.